When I assumed office, I think the people of Thailand and also our friends around the world were very concerned about the political situation then. And of course, there was the onset of the global economic crisis. But I think the Thai people had this common dream, and it's also my dream, which is that we can restore the country's image in terms of political stability, and that the fact that our democracy is actually maturing, and at the same time, we can prove our resilience once again, that we can shine through any economic crisis. Since then, I think we have made a lot of progress. I think the situation is now more stable. We are continuing to move towards our national reconciliation program through democratic means, and my government has certainly proved that we are here to protect and also to make sure that our democracy continues to develop. At the same time, we have also seen a lot of progress on the economy. The worst is over. I think the economy is well on the recovery path, and we're also preparing ourselves for the post-crisis world. Thailand currently acts as the chair of ASEAN, and we are also conveniently located at the heart of ASEAN, which is a community of almost 600 million people. We also assume chairmanship at a time when ASEAN itself is also moving towards a community building process, where we will achieve what is set out in the new charter of ASEAN, this vision of a true community in terms of political, security, economic and social community by the year 2015. This will not only create tremendous opportunities for the people of ASEAN, the 10 Southeast Asian countries, economically and also in terms of strengthening their cultural and social ties, but also provides an incredible market and opportunities for foreigners who want to invest and trade with us. Asia has been the focus of people around the world. I think there are high expectations that the Asian economies will be the ones that will lead the global economy out of the current crisis, especially with very two large economies, China and India, clearly showing their strengths. At the same time, countries like Thailand, who had gone through a very difficult period in 1997 with the financial crisis, has learned their lessons. And we have proved this time around that our financial system is extremely sound and can therefore weather the financial crisis from elsewhere. But obviously we are part of the global economy, and we need obviously our partners and friends to recover to make sure that our exports and our tourism incomes can recover. Be that as it may, I think the fact that we have proven in the past to be resilient, to be flexible, and that we have a lot of strong fundamental factors going for us in terms of resources, in terms of the labor force, in terms of the skills, and in terms of the ability to adapt. I am confident that will be part of Asian prosperity, which will drive the global economy in this century. Thailand has always adopted a very outward-oriented approach to development throughout our history. So we've always welcomed foreigners in terms of trade, investment, social, cultural exchanges. That makes us very well suited to the global economy in a globalized age. And I believe that our agreements, particularly free trade agreements and economic partnership agreements that we have with economies ranging from China, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, India, these will make sure that Thailand will be fully integrated into the global economy and therefore be able to work with our longtime friends and partners all over the world to make sure that we achieve peace and prosperity. When we were faced with the economic crisis, the first thing we knew we had to do was to protect our people. And so our first stimulus package program was really designed to help the poorest and the least fortunate in our country. What we did was to run a number of programs that sustain the purchasing power of those people, whether they are the elderly, whether they are school children, whether they are the unemployed. And that has helped sustain the amount of economic transactions and activity domestically to compensate somewhat for the drop in exports and tourism. But more significantly, we are now undertaking the second stimulus package program, which we call Investing from Strength to Strength. Basically, this is about upgrading the country, making sure that the country is well prepared for the post-crisis world. In particular, we are investing in agriculture, particularly water management and water distribution. We are also investing to reduce our logistics costs in terms of communications and transport networks. We're investing in schools, we're investing in health centers, and we are making support and contributions available for our creative economy and the tourism sector. So all in all, what we are doing now is to create jobs for the immediate term and at the same time make sure that their activities are productive, are worthwhile for the long term, and that we're investing from strength to strength. Well, anybody who's thinking of coming to Thailand, whether as a tourist or as an investor, I would say to them that they can ask anybody who has had any experience here with Thailand. And I'm sure that they'll be told about great potential in terms of our economic capabilities, the agricultural, industrial service sector. They can tell you about all the things that we have to offer as a tourist destination: beaches, mountains, and most of all, our friendliness, hospitality, and world-renowned smiles. And the fact of the matter is, our culture, our people, our history have proven, and I think our past history has shown, that Thailand has always been a very resilient country. And time again, despite all the difficulties and despite all the crises, we have come through. And that is why, even during these very difficult times, Thailand, once again, is shining through.